Hey everyone, it's Sarah here, and I'm coming to you from our living room. Remember some of the old videos from this space? Before I get into the video, I just wanted to share with you some great news. If you've been following me, then you know that several weeks ago our dog got hurt and he needed pretty invasive surgery. So today he had a checkup and he passed it with the flying colors. But of course, to perform the whole checkup, they had to sedate him, and he's still full kind of loopy whoopy. So the poor thing is sleeping right here next to me. Let's see if I can show the video. Still, there he is, just snoring his way. So I came down here to actually spend the day with him so he wouldn't be all by himself. So I figured I would use this time when he's asleep to talk to you about this one of the most crucial components when it comes to making the success that you envision tangible and attainable. And when you are reverse engineering the steps to make it happen, so you can actually have the overview, the snapshot of what can actually be done and how it can be done. Earlier today, I actually posted, and I did not intend it to work so well together with the post from the morning, but I was talking about two layers that oftentimes get missed in our industry. Whether you're coach or consultant or professional service provider, you probably have caught the bug of, I have to make 6 figures, I have to make multiple 6 figures, I have to make 7 figures. It could be because it sounds great, or it could be because you believe that once you have this money, you will find the happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, or because you know that that is the amount you need in order to create a lifestyle that you truly desire. So let's start there. Creating a lifestyle that you desire by creating the means, the cash flow in order to support that. When I spoke about, 6 and 7 figures, oftentimes it gets missed of what it actually converts into. What is the gross versus net, right? What is the take home versus all the other expenses that you need to take care of in your business? So we'll be touching upon that. And all of that is a part of that secret layer of what happens before you even put your marketing stuff out there. What happens before you even get on the phone with prospects, before the client even becomes your client, the onboarding process, because it also affects the way of what happens after that magical yes. So let me explain. You have heard of the word capacity, and it can sound very technical. It can have very, raw and not really juicy feel to it, because it really is raw and not really juicy when you talk about capacity, when you talk about breaking down your schedule and see the bandwidth that you have in order to support your clients, to support your team, to do whatever it is that you need to do on the business side, not to mention still have the life outside of the office that you really desire and you find fulfilling and joyful and relaxing or adventurous, whatever it is that you're aiming for. So this is one of the things that we do with my clients when they say, I just want to make, I don't know, I had somebody who came to me and was like, I was always dreaming of the 10K month, and now I have the 10K month and I just can't relax. I turn around and the money is gone and I just don't know what to do. Hey, Lily. Or I had somebody who's come to me said, I'm making those 20K months, but I'm working all the time. I can't, it's exhausting. I became a slave to my own business, and it's just a job that I created for myself. And it happens a lot. So the first thing I invite them to do is to really break it down. How are you distributing the funds that you receive? Because at the end of the day, it's not just, okay, I'm selling my services for, I don't know, 25,000. This is what I'm pocketing. This is the cash that I'm taking home. Far from that. You have to counting at least taxes. And I know I'm getting very technical right now, and if you want to go into more details, one of the books I highly, highly recommend is Profit First. But even without the Profit First, they have a very specific system of what to do and how to manage the money that comes in. But on a very surface level, if we are just skimming it over so you get the concept, is you have to distribute it towards the taxes, towards your pay. If you have any outstanding debt, it goes towards that. What are you reinvesting back in the business? What are you reinvesting back in yourself? Are you supporting any charities? And what about your play money, right? Because you're working your ass off, of course you deserve some play money too. So all of that, and once you start breaking it down, you see that the $25,000 can very quickly turn into a couple of thousand here and a couple of thousand there. So the next layer that we do is to really assess what is that total that you need to bring in every month. And what the total I mean is the take home, the cash that you pocket at the end, that you provide your family with, that you sustain from month to month to month. And if there are projects that you're undertaking, it has to include those projects too. If you have a mortgage to pay, that has to be included. If you're about to launch an event, you have to set aside the funds for that. You get the idea. I don't want to bore you with too many details. So you're working down and breaking down the numbers. And I know a lot of creative, spiritual, free spirit, entrepreneurs, women, men, they typically shy away from it because it sounds scary to them. It sounds too restricting. It sounds too boring. It sounds too, what's the word opposite of creative? It just doesn't excite them. It literally scares them away. To many of them, it's much easier to play in the tangible and say, oh my gosh, I just envision, I have this download of creating, and calling in the clients who are going to pay me $25,000, $100,000, $500,000, whatever it is. But once you start breaking it down, a whole new world opens up, and this is just the first level when you have the clear understanding of what is that you need. Now, there definitely is the balance of when are we going to technicalities and when do you detach of the outcome and really surrender, which is much more aligned in those higher levels of conversation, right? We don't talk necessarily about net profits. We talk about, okay, what do I call in? What is congruent? So whatever languages that you're using, it's fine as long as you know the meaning behind it and as long as you know what it means and what it entails. So now, when you know your numbers, now this is the part that a lot of times just, becomes so overwhelming that a lot of people don't even attend it. Hey, Kathleen, thanks for joining me. I think you're going to really enjoy what I'm going to share with you right now. So we were talking, if you're just joining, we were talking about breaking down the numbers so you have the understanding of what those, the desirable amounts that sound so fancy even mean, how they break down. And now we're going to be actually breaking it all down to make sure that you have the bandwidth to really materialize it. And we're doing this for two purposes. First, for your actual physical capacity to make things happen. Second is the psychological effect. When you see it on paper, when you see it's doable, your mind immediately drops the fear. It immediately drops all the excuses of, well, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if I can make it. No. You do. It's right in front of you. You have it on paper. So it serves that dual purpose. So let's say that you have a 3-month package and let's say you're selling it for $25,000. You will definitely break it down of what is the deposit you're receiving, what is the then installment plan. Is it payment in full? And you'll be comparing those numbers against the goals that you have set for yourself. So you might notice that, as interesting as it sounds to get, I just want to get $25,000. It's exactly my goal. Now you actually realize when you work down the numbers, no, you need 4 clients like this every month. And some of you might feel the tightness in your chest, like, what just happened? This is why we're doing this. This is why you do that in advance, so you can devise the strategies and methodologies and everything else around it on a very soulful, in a very aligned and congruent level. But there's specific steps that you need to take. Even though you might hear from some of the leaders that, you don't need any of the strategy and stuff like that. You do. There definitely is a layer where you do need it, and this is one of the layers. So you might find out that, in order to keep the momentum, in order to continuously reach those goals, it's not just the 4 clients initially. Now what happens in the second month? What can you do? Do you have the capacity? Do you just keep those 4? Or do you have to add some more? Because now you're, it's a teeter-totter between what can you support and what do you need to bring on. And that's a lot of times also where entrepreneurs start to realize that, as fancy and as compelling as it might sound to really be the cheapie on the market, which my clients typically are not, just to make that clear, you don't have the capacity, many of them don't have the capacity to sustain the business and life that they desire in the model that they have created in their mind at the price points that they kind of feel comfortable, right? So this is where we start to reconfigure things, remodel things. We start to reconstruct them. We start to redefine them. And it's really the place, it literally is like playing with Lego blocks when you have all different shapes and colors. And now it's like, okay, what do I need to put together in order to make the house that I want to build, or the beach experience, or the disco club, whatever you're building with Legos. Speaking of Legos, it's one of my favorite things to do. Again, I know this can be very scary to think about. It can be very not just scary, but confining. And some of you might feel that resistance coming up of, no, I'm not going there. I'm not doing this. I will just, put the intention out there and I will hope for the best. Hey, let's see. You can definitely try that and see how it works. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is there was a situation where we were working on this, and the initial vision, like I said, was like, oh, I just want to make $25,000. I'll be the happiest camper when that happens. We broke down the numbers. I was like, whoa, if I need to allocate XYZ towards the taxes and XYZ towards the debt, the XYZ towards this and that, there's no way I can get by $25,000. So we had to recreate the pricing points, which means recreate the value that the client is providing in order to exchange it for the amount that they're asking for. How to present it, which plays into the marketing piece. And then go back and check to make sure that it still fits in their schedule that they have available, that they have created, that works for them and their families. So it turned out at one point they will need to be able to accept and fully support 8 one-on-one clients. Can they do that? Do they have the capacity? Do they have the energy? Do they have the bandwidth, so to speak, right? Do they have the ability to really pay full attention to those 8 one-on-one clients? See, all of those questions are coming up after you have it on paper to see what is that you're walking towards. So the last layer and the last component to this exercise is really simple. You can use Google Schedule. You can use a simple Excel spreadsheet or Google Documents. It really doesn't matter. But again, one thing is to envision things and feel into things in your mind. Something entirely different is to actually put it on paper. So just to make sure that what you have mapped out in terms of the revenues and the goals that you want to create that it also has the space in your physical calendar to host those calls, to host those VIP days, to go to those meetings, to go out and meet those clients, to connect with them, to network with them, to call them in, to host discovery calls if this is how you roll. It really is easy and simple and a quick exercise. It takes maybe 20 minutes when you know what you're looking for, when you know what you're doing and what are the things that you're pulling together. But if you don't do it, you are almost going to be like, what do they say? Blind leading the blind, right? When your heart and your soul and your intuition are guiding you towards something, but you have no idea how to make it happen. So you're consistently playing in the concept and playing in the concept and playing in the concept. This is the first step that you can actually start grounding everything and reverse engineering and making it tangible and making it actually something that your mind can process and brings you that peace and content when you're like, oh, it's doable, I can do it. Okay, easy peasy, I'm on it. And that really is the difference between those who are consistently reaching and exceeding their goals with confidence, the ones that you see out there who are playing and having fun, because from there they were able to put systems in place, the structures in place, the frameworks in place, the strategies in place to fully support them. When they were really clear what they will do and what will they tolerate, what is acceptable, what is desirable, versus those who are just spinning in circles, wandering day in and day out and obsessing and hoping for the best, sitting with their fingers crossed and believing if only, I just need to journal. And let me make something clear here. This is not to be condescending towards anybody's approach, because I, for myself, know the incredible value of journaling. But there is this disconnect, there is this misconception in that I'm noticing in this industry, is where you are led to believe that all you have to do is show up for yourself, all you have to do is to think happy thoughts and everything's going to happen. And it doesn't work that way. So I just wanted you to make this clear. I wanted you to understand that. So let me know if you have any questions on that. Like I said, I know this is a lot more technical than what we have been talking about recently, especially talking about sexual energy and seduction and all this feminine energy and playfulness yesterday to this conversation. But this really is what happens. You have to be able to dance tango with both. You have to be able to find that balance that works for you. Playing in the intangible, playing in the tangible, playing in the energy, spirituality, and then also very solid concepts and principles of business, right? And like I said, this is one of the layers that we do with my clients all the time. So if you have questions, let me know. I am here to support you fully, because I do want to see you succeed, because you and I both know this is just the first step towards where you're destined to go. And where you're destined to go is really that place where you're fully expressed, that revolutionary self. It gives me goosebumps every single time I say it. But again, you need to have a solid foundation in order to get there. Just like you can't build a McMansion on the stilts of a cottage, this is the same thing. So go do your homework, put it on a paper, be very clear of what is it you're after, how you're going to make it happen, and then see the magic happening in front of your eyes. Take care.